The Cominturismo brand is near exclusively known for its single model, the Cominturismo 1117. This car maintained the factory's viability throughout its early years. However, by the end of 1991, a substantial change to the political world threw Cominturismo's future into uncertainty.
Our lead focus tonight, the latest chapter in the unraveling of the Soviet Union.
Having now lost their sole means of financial support, Cominturismo was now forced to look elsewhere for funding. The well-established Western enterprises were fairly resistant to invest funds into the Cominturismo brand. However, after a desperate search for funding, Cominturismo landed investments from the Mexican brand Nopal and the British motor company Deluxe Moto. Cominturismo knew they had very little chance to compete against Western markets, and in order to do so would require them to build a car unlike anything they had built before. Today, we look at this car, the Cominturismo Capital. It's not beautiful, it's not fast, and it's not the best to drive, but it was cheap, and it sold well. The Cominturismo Capital saved Cominturismo and set the company on track for a better future. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Automation. So, today we are going to dive further into the history, the rich, luxurious history of Cominturismo. And with that dive into the history of Cominturismo, we will answer the age-old question, what happened to Cominturismo after 1991? As you can imagine, this would be a very difficult time for Cominturismo, having to make the shift into competing with Western markets and the influx of these Western brands into the country. And with that, they need a car that proves that they are competitive, that they can exist without the government, that they can exist as their own company. And with that, the Cominturismo Capital. So, year is 1992, and this is the body we are going with today. I mean, you can't unlearn all of the years of Cominturismo design philosophy, aka bad. I guess the best upgrade that they'll give this thing is corrosion-resistant steel. With the cost-cutting methods, they will stick with ladder, although this will be corrosion-resistant. This thing's actually, might last a little longer. Not to say that the Cominturismo wasn't durable. I think it proved that on Pikes Peak. So, it will be transverse. It will have a... This is where things could get interesting, actually. Because, they want to make it a little bit better. Because it's just got to be that much better now. So let's do a double wishbone in the front and a trailing arm in the rear. Alright, so we're going to make a new engine here. And this thing... Well, let's see. What was the last engine? There was the hammer and sickle, weren't they? Yeah. So this will have to be the hammer, not sickle. All right. So historically, Cominturismo has only done 3 cylinders, but I think we might break from that today. Not in the way you'd expect. So somebody in the comments had a nice idea of Cominturismo simply, taping 2 3-cylinder engines together, thus creating the first Cominturismo V6. So I kind of like that idea. So we're going to do that. It's going to be a V6, but just pretend that that's just 2 3-cylinder engines welded right down the center. And, I guess that's basically a V6. But yeah, we're going to keep it cast iron. I think we'll go ahead and keep it push rods. And in a traditional Cominturismo way, this thing is going to be a tiny, tiny engine. 1.2 liter. Yes, lovely. Remember, this car's got to be cheap. And it's got to be, well, good enough. It's got to be better than the competition. Or at least, good enough to pull some market away from the competition. So, head material, weight is going to be a serious issue here. But we'll stick with cast iron. Alright, as far as the crank goes, it might be worth going. We'll stick with cast iron, and heavy duty. We'll go with cast. And cast, but I might come back and upgrade those, because, this is a new era. Things can be done differently now. Okay, this thing isn't going to be turboed, but I'm going to leave all that stuff there. Naturally aspirated. We'll do a carb. We'll give it we'll splurge for the eco, though, because, fuel efficiency, right? That's popular with Western markets. Single carb, standard intake, and this thing will run on regular. Okay, so leaving all of this stuff in place, we'll go ahead and throw a short cast exhaust. Single for now. I don't think we're ever going to shoot that up. We'll give it a catalytic converter. I think this is the first Cominturismo branded car to have a catalytic converter, but you know, regulations are a thing now. Nothing, and then we'll baffle it out the back. Alright, so that tracks. Okay, so we got a lot of knocking, but that's kind of to be expected here. So let's get this down a bit. Let's see what exactly this engine is capable of, and I'm gonna go out on a limb and say not much. Get a few more RPM out of it. I think we're gonna have to bump up some of this stuff though. Here, let's shoot the exhaust up a little bit. That might be a little excessive. Let's do a, where do we start at? 2, I think? Let's go for a 3 and see what we can do now. Okay, yeah, I think this might need some work. This displacement is just not very conducive for, you know, anything slightly resembling performance. So let's do some bad things. Alright, you know what? I'm actually kind of curious. Right now, it's so tiny. Okay, material cost is $414. I think it's fair to say we could afford a small turbo. The engine is essentially the turbo. 54 horsepower. Alright, can we get bigger turbo? 66 is where it gets. 68 horsepower, 66 foot-pound of torque. That's not terrible. Turboed up to 86 horsepower. Revolutionary. And we'll bring that limit out a bit more now. Okay. This is gonna sound very interesting. 82 foot-pounds of torque, 91 horsepower. And I'm sure if I go over to the next graph, yeah, that's about what I was expecting. We hit 100. Oh wow, we can. 101. I don't think it's gonna be anything wildly incredible, especially not if you care about fuel efficiency, which is ironically something that made me pick the Eco. Yeah, who cares about fuel efficiency? What does it sound like though? Nope, it sounds like a Cominturismo if it was turbocharged. The funny thing is I probably could have gotten a lot more done with just a larger 3-cylinder. But you know what? Western markets want more than 3 cylinders, so it was a marketing choice. So I think that this could actually be decent. I don't know, it could be. It definitely doesn't sound nice. And the fuel system is really not seeming to have a good time. Alright, now for the question, what kind of car do I make out of this? Straight up sedan. And now just to give it that signature Cominturismo flair. Alright, let's see how that's not gonna happen. We'll give it a little bit of shape. I'm actually kind of a fan of making this really long. I don't know why. What is rear visibility like in this? Like, that is a big pillar. How about that? That's kind of getting the same back section as the Wayfarer, actually, with that giant pillar. I think we might go with something like that. Yeah. Trim. Let's make sure all of those are plastic. Okay. And steel. Alright. On to the design. So I gotta say, first off, I think this might be the only Cominturismo that possibly stands a chance. Actually, no, the Cominturismo 1000 was actually good, but I think I attribute that mostly to weight. That thing just worked. Alright, I want to keep the same design philosophy, but I want to make it a bit more modern. Let's see, can we play off this line right here a little bit? I mean, there's some weird staggering going on there, but there's not much we can do to remedy that. We could switch it to this. Okay, so now we want to get that grill. That little grill that goes across there. But where is it? That's it. Okay, you know what? That looks pretty generic, but it kind of works. Alright, yeah, let's see this. Let's make this literally look more modern. Assume that almost all of their money went into styling. That actually doesn't look too bad. I mean, this is still a weird angle back there, but I mean, Cominturismo's got to be weird somewhere, right? It's just got such an upwards line there. It's almost too much. They've always had little lights down here. And we'll go ahead and put those there. And then the question, is this the end of Cominturismo's pop-ups? Or do they stay? It kind of looks terrible with them, not gonna lie. I really want to keep pop-ups for the sake of consistency, but there's just a lot going on in the way of headlights right now. Do something weird, put them a little closer together. Does that offset the weirdness? And that kind of just makes it worse. Those pop-ups just aren't gonna work. They just look wrong to me. But I will keep them in spirit with those pop-up covers. The more 90s style ones. Technically, it has pop-ups. Alright? But it also doesn't. To be honest with you, I don't even know what I'm doing right now. That does give me an idea, though, that could actually make this thing look really neat. That just kind of kills it, actually. It's amazing how just that one piece entirely changes the look of the car. I feel like something needs to be there. You know what, actually? Oh, idea. What if we got a more shaped grille in there? It's getting horrible, though. Let's play with this idea some more. How about that? Maybe. Let's see. I think this is one of the better options. I think it's better than a lot of the other options I've come up with. So for that reason, I'm going to leave it and move to the rest of the car because I've been on that part of the car for like a good half hour. Okay, I really don't think this thing will have any more on the side of it than just door handles. So let's go ahead and just give it basic door handles. Fuel cap. Can't forget the fuel cap. We'll go ahead and just tack that on there. Okay, on to the back. Oh wow, this is a dream actually. This space right here is everything I could ever want. Okay, so how do we modernize a Cominturismo taillight? I think we start with this. That looks terrible. Let's go back to the slatted design of the original. I think maybe there was a good reason to keep it this way. This doesn't look nearly as good as I was hoping it would. So the reverse lights are just those tiny little things, and then this becomes the turn signal. Or perhaps we could try and do a line instead, straight through there. This is definitely going to get mixed reactions, I have no doubt. You know, looking at that closely, though, it actually kind of looks neat. Alright, so before we get to branding or anything weird like that, let's go ahead, bumper bar, I want to get this in here. Let's center it a bit better, though. Okay, let's throw the plate on there, I guess, now that we're here. There we go. That'll serve that purpose. What else does this need? It needs badging and it needs the branding, but what else could it use? Let's give it a nice curved one. I love these antennas. I guess that's good enough. Or we could go, you know, I'm gonna go for that other wiper style. The straight down the middle kind of one. Yeah, that kind of, that way, so that this area is on. I always thought that made more sense, honestly. With this section not really getting wiped as much versus, you know, with this way, you know, I don't know, I guess it's kind of a wash. You're not really looking out of this part of the car either, or that part. Well, this one's gonna go that way. I don't know if what I just said made any sense because I was thinking half of what I said and didn't say half of it also. That probably didn't make any sense either. Moving on. Okay, let's do the wheels and then we'll do the badging. What kind of wheels are cheap but still say we're not the cheapest? But I can really hear those saying that. Alright, we're going with those. Let's see, I think I got some new fonts since the last episode. So if they'll load, maybe we get a chance to use some of those. Alright, well in that case, I think that this part of the build is finally done. Wow, it's been an hour and 22 minutes so far. And this is what I've accomplished. Alright, front wheel drive, definitely. We'll do a manual, go ahead and give it a 4-speed, we might bump that up if we want to. Open diff, alright, we'll do radial, medium compound. And I think we'll shoot up to alloy. Yeah, for the first time, there will be alloy rims on a Cominturismo. Alright, so the front brakes, I think we might actually shoot for a disc. Small disc, and then a drums under rear, of course. No under tray needed. The back will have full set of seats, but of course, let's do standard. And you know what? It's 1992. I think it's time we introduce a cassette player. No CD player, but you can have a cassette player. That's allowed. No power steering, not needed. No ABS. There's no basic 90s. Alright, well, safety, I guess, is important now. We gotta make it marketable. People seem to care about these kind of things for some reason. Alright, we'll go with twin tube, because I'm not really super worried about that kind of stuff. In standard. Wow. That's actually surprising. What can we do with the wheels? Because these... that makes it worse. So that needs to be the tire width. You know what, actually? I'm gonna leave well enough alone in that regards. I think I will offset it a little bit though, because, well, frankly, it's terrible right now. Okay, well, I'm not gonna touch any of this anymore. Alright, so brake force, obviously. Weight and lack of power. How much does this thing weigh? 2,500 pounds. 100.6 horsepower. Okay, I can see how that could be a little on the slow side. Short gearings, reducing top speed. Okay, so yeah, we will address this. Estimated top speed 125, so let's get it up to there. Front damper's hard, that's always something. Fuel system, we've established we don't care. The rear tires are wide, but I like them like this. What's the worst thing that'll happen? That is probably the straightest line I have ever made. I am so very proud of this. More gears. Okay, that shaves 3 seconds off. 13% wheel spin. That's easily manageable. Oh, this is so nice. I just want to give it more power. This is not something I should be going back and tweaking right now, but I'm just gonna up the displacement to like 1.5 liters. Man, if this thing just could put out like 200 horsepower or so, oh my gosh, I feel like this would be so much fun. 18% wheel spin, but now we're at an 11-second 0 to 60, so I guess all of that little tinkering for that extra 20-30 horsepower, I'd say that was worth it. I'd say that was definitely worth it. Okay, brake time. Alright, brakes are sorted, and actually there is no brake fade, which is new. I feel like that's just gonna get absolutely wrecked in a speed bump. Like, that exhaust actually does not have a whole lot of planning going on. Whatever. I can't be bothered to fix it now. Alright, so that is the Cominturismo Capital. I guess now all that is left is to go out and test it. Actually, you know what? One last thing I want to throw on here, just for fun. It's competition now. It's gotta keep up. I'm actually pretty excited to this thing. This could be really fun. Okay, so the thing weighs 2,600 pounds. And it's actually pretty well distributed. Not the best suspension, but I have a feeling it's gonna surprise us. Material cost, so it costs $5,900 to make it. Approximate cost is $15,300. That isn't bad. Yeah, alright. In that case, I'm gonna go ahead and export this, and I will see you guys over in Beam. Alright, so here we are in Utah, and here are 3 Cominturismo Capitals in different colors. I was kind of curious how they'd look, so yeah, that's how they look. They look like a Cominturismo Capital in 3 different colors. But anyway, we are here to find out how it drives, how it performs, and frankly, is it enough to save the Cominturismo brand? Well, I guess we'll find out. First off, it is good to note that the turn signals do work, so that's good. The lights all seem to work as intended. But let's go ahead and turn it on. Doesn't sound like a Cominturismo, I gotta say that. But it stalls like a Cominturismo, so it's still a Cominturismo. But a normal Cominturismo couldn't do that. Alright, let's get it out on the road and see how it does. I gotta say, the body design is a lot better in game than I thought it would be. That fuel system's gonna come back and bite us though. That turbo's boosting all the way up immediately. That is not a happy turbo. It is nippy, and it likes to slide, and it doesn't like to be controlled. Alright, so that's the first accident on the first corner. That's where we stand right now. Let's see, you gotta be very light with the steering. It is not a fan of tight moves. Even like the slightest input on my joystick, and it is gone. That back end starts coming around. Oh man. Wow. Okay, yeah, it is a little on the finicky side. It is not a happy turbo. Oh, understeer. Okay. It sounds pretty good if you don't mind a car that regularly sounds like it needs servicing. But if you can get past that, I mean, it sounds pretty good. It's definitely usable for a daily car. As long as you don't try and, you know, street race it stock. That's probably not a good idea. And a little bit of lift off. Okay, once you kind of get the feel for it, it's not so bad. I mean, it definitely can get the job done. I have no doubt that as a commuter, it would be fine. This is what you get when you turbo something in this price range. Especially when it's from a company that's really never made a turbo. I mean, it's getting up these hills. And honestly, that's something that both the Cominturismo 1000 and the Cominturismo would have struggled with. Okay, I'm going to try accelerating up this hill from a stop. Let's see how this does. Starting right here. Oh gosh, okay, these gears need some work. And I'm gonna try and take us right to this mine shaft. Oh gosh, how has it not crashed yet? Okay, now it has a little bit, but... Is it dead? Alright, I want to try that again. That was actually pretty close to working out okay. The problem is, it's just so finicky. I think we just did some damage there again. Let's see though, I think we're actually gonna make it out this time. Oh, there's a lot of options in here. Oh, I'm getting an idea for an Autopolitan event. Oh, wait, what? Okay, that was unfair. Who would build a mine shaft like that? That's just irresponsible. But it is a Cominturismo, so, it still starts. Admittedly, I didn't expect this color to look so bad. But, anyway, this is the color. So, the times to beat. The SLFE has the current track lead with a 1 minute 21, followed by the AJ Turbo with a 1:32 and the Palma with a 1:40. The Deluxe Box trailing way behind with a 2 minute and 54. So, I think it's fair to say this will beat the Deluxe Bus. The question is, will it beat the Palma? I don't think it'll beat the AJ Turbo, but I think it might, depending on how it's able to handle these corners, might have a chance on the Palma. At the moment, I think the Palma is probably the closest competition to the Capital. So, let's find out. In 3, 2, 1, go. Jerky start, but yeah, I mean, yeah, we've covered that. Alright, I feel like I can push it a little more in this first bit here, as long as I lift off completely before it does any sort of cornering. It doesn't like to corner and have any sort of throttle input. Let's see, if we don't lose it at all here, exact same thing, but that felt faster. There was no braking needed. 62 this time. Mine had gotten 63. I kind of looked up, and that was that tight corner. To some degree, I think I need to look at the sensitivity on my joystick, but this car does feel extremely sensitive regardless. Alright, past that trouble spot, moving into the next corner. Can take that one kind of quick, as can we with this. Now this corner is actually kind of scaring me a little bit. Alright, let's brake it a little bit. Oh, there's nothing to be too scared about. And onto the straights. And will it beat the Palma? And stop. So, the Cominturismo Capital completed its lap with a 1 minute 46.1. That puts it just under 6 seconds behind the Palma, and that is a lot of time on the track, and I think most of that is just quite simply chalked up to the Palma's superior control. The Palma handles substantially better, but for a Cominturismo, especially a sedan, that is nothing to balk at. Why did I do this? What do I mean, why did I do this? I do that almost every time after the lap. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Let me know in the comments what you guys think of the Cominturismo Capital. For its price and considering what it is, would you see yourself buying one? Honestly, for the money, I don't think it's all that bad. It's really not. I mean, especially if you do your own work right off the bat on the turbo. Maybe that could be addressed in a revision. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Secondly, a quick order of business thing. From now on, after every episode releases, the car will now be immediately available for you guys to download and drive for yourselves on the BeamNG repository. So, by the time that this video goes up, the Cominturismo Capital, the Sedit Palma, the AJ Turbo, the Deluxe Bus, and the SLFE will all be available on the repository. And the link to each car can be found down in the description. So if that's something you want to go play around with, go ahead and give it a download and see what you guys think. Ooh, this is going to be bad. Who said Cominturismos can't climb hills? Uh-oh, this can't be where it dies. Anyway, though, like I said, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one.